11b. What I'm going to ask you to do is take a word and print it backwards. So for example, the word hello, it's stored as an array. H is in position 0, E is in position 1, L position 2, L position 3, O position 4. Your job is to print the word so it's O-L-L-E-H instead. Now, huge warning, I'd suggest you try it forwards first, then modify your program. So what are you going to need to do? Declare a string so we can work with it. So we would have a string, we could call it word, and you can leave it empty, so you can input it, so you can change it and see how it works. Input the sentence. I would test it with input next. Just try it with a word first, and once you get it working, then be brave and try next line, where you can type in lots of words. We're going to use a loop and print one letter at a time. Again, let's go forwards, make that work first. So you have an I loop that will start at 0, and it wants to go to the end of the word. So we need to know how long the word is. Luckily, there's a function for that. So there's a function called length. You can declare a variable x, it would be an integer, and take whatever you called your sentence and find the length of it. So if I called my sentence word, I would do x equals word.length. So the length of this word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your I loop would start at 0, keep going as long as you're less than 5. And then you have to pick out each letter. Again, there's a function for that. So the function for that is character at whichever index we're at. So declare letter as a character, take whatever you called your sentence, we probably call ours word, and find the character at I. So if you're in a loop and I starts at 0, the character at 0 is H. That goes into letter, and if you print it, you'll see H appear on the screen. Go back in your loop, I is now 1. The character at 1 is E. Letter will become E. If you print letter, E will appear on your screen. Let's just see what that looks like. I have the code here written for us. We calculate the length, we input the word, we go starting at 0, go to X, print out each letter, and put a space between so we can run it, so we can see it. So when we run, we'll enter a word, H-E-L-L-O, goes through each one, picks them out one at a time. You'll want to repeat that. So we're going to have a while loop in here that'll go through and do it again. So let's see what that looks like. We'll test it again with our hello. It works beautifully. We'll repeat that, give it another test, and things look magical. Don't bother repeating. The next thing you might want to try is change it to a sentence. So if I change it to next line, I'm then allowed to type in more than one word. Next line will read until you hit enter. Hello or next works until you hit space. So let's see what happens if we have next line. So this is my sentence. Perfect, works beautifully. Now, strange things are about to happen, and this is why I'm walking you through this. Repeat, yes. Doesn't let me enter a word. So what is happening here? When you do this line of input next line, it reads until you hit the enter key. When you do input next int, it reads the integer and leaves the end of line character in the buffer. So the next time it says enter a word, it says, oh, there's an end of line character, I'm done, goes on with the program, and doesn't let you actually input the word at all. The word has no length, skips everything, comes down to the repeat. Here's how you fix it. So we had a string called word. We're going to have another string. We're going to call it dummy. Now I'm not being mean or nasty when I do this. This is known as a dummy variable. We're going to take what we did with word. I'm going to copy that and paste it in. And I'm really going to try and paste that in. Let me try that again. And we're going to change that to dummy. Okay, so dummy is going to just be the next line that we type in. So what does that do for us? Let's test it. So we'll do exactly what we did before. This is my sentence. Works beautifully. Repeat. This time it waits. So why does that work? Next line reads until end of line character. Next int reads the one, leaves the end of line character behind. Dummy cleans out the end of line character. Then when it loops around again, it's ready to enter a new word. And then we're good to keep going. So it's known as a dummy variable because it doesn't really do much. You're not using it in the program for anything else. So that's why I called it dummy. Again, not to be rude. And your job now, I've got everything working beautifully for you. You have to do this backwards. So instead of starting at 0 and going to X, you want to go the other way around. Huge warning. Lots of things go crazy with this. So we'll give you a little bit of an understanding of why it goes crazy. It has to do with this. We're starting at 0. We go until just before the length of the word. So when you swap it, you cannot start at the length of the word. So what's happening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. Is there anything at position 5? No. So you're going to have to be quite clever in figuring this out. That'll be good for you. Have fun.